We are live. We are live. Welcome to college football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Flugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our ever-growing channel. Smash the like button. If you like our content, share the video with your family and friends. And if you want to support this channel, this Rebel Outpost, this Peek Around the Corner college football channel, hit the $, put a comment in, and we'll get you super chat as quick as possible. Welcome into the studio that sits on the corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Even the Washington Huskies fans, do not be afraid to be a legend in the chat room and with your phone calls later in the show. Everything's going to be all right, Washington. You're going to get a great coach. You got a great program. You have great support. Everything is going to be all right. We have a stacked show today. We're talking about the breaking news. The breaking news, Kalen DeBoer is the new head football coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide. I am going to provide a peek behind the curtain. We're going to push the envelope as much as we possibly can. We do have a little bit of information that we can provide. I feel like I got a piece of hair on my forehead here, on my big fat forehead. We do have a little bit of information, just a little bit. Again, this is what we do. We put it out there, connect the dots. I think we can eliminate one major candidate for the Washington Huskies job. I think we can. But we'll get into that later down the road in this show. I first want to say, I want to thank everybody for coming on in here. Patrick, woo! Randy Taylor, it's happening. Stephen McNeely, early peak member. Sergeant Pickles, I have no further comment at this time. Gold Dogs, Wet Blanket, Alabama. Greg takes a W. Holy smokes. Darn you, DeBoer. Gerald McKinley, does Will Rogers follow DeBoer? I don't think so. I don't know. I'm guessing no, but we'll see, Gerald. We will see. The architect. Head bobbing to the theme music, Greg. Who takes the Washington job? We do not know at this time. I want to go back to yesterday. And I think you'll get a sense of where all this possibly is going. Hey, everyone. Immaculate was so close. So close. T-Duck. What a beautiful day. T-Duck. I tell you what, these Ducks and Husky fans, Calderon ACC, baby. Keep your head on a swivel. 12 Ducks, 72. John Bennett, PATC is rocking. Josie, keep your head on a swivel. Keep your head on a swivel. Ted Evans, Mr. Husky, an early peak member. If Grubb can be the next head coach at Washington, it lessens the blow. But ouch! This feels like a high school girlfriend breakup. And I would know, Mr. Evans. I would. Actually, the most heartbreaking breakup for me was in ninth grade. And in that time, back in the early 80s, ninth grade was in junior high. Christy Hansen broke up with me. It was absolutely devastating. That's when I learned how to take the L. That's when I learned, and I've been taking L's ever since. Okay, Randy Taylor, smash. Oh, Duck fan one. Good afternoon, Greg and PATC community. Raider Vision. Raider Vision is in the house. Musical chairs continue. The carousel keeps on going. John Till. Marcus Freeman of Washington. He can win a natty there. Nope, I don't. Marcus Freeman is not. Nope. Nope. Thank you, John, for the super chat. Good suggestion, but that's not happening. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for your continuous generosity to this channel. I appreciate it so much. Noah Berman, early peak member. It's a great day to be a Duck. Patrick, Greg is the same age. Okay. Let's get to it. Again, if you just woken up, gotten back from work, whatever, right? Whatever. DeBoer, he was supposed to have, Kalen DeBoer was supposed to have an interview on a radio station, 93.3 KJR, let everybody know early in the morning that it was canceled. At some point, way early in the morning, Steve Sarkisian letting everybody know he was not going to be the Alabama football coach. And then Norvell, Mike Norvell, Ross Dellinger, Yahoo Sports. Mike Norvell, Florida State have agreed to a new 8-year contract that will pay him more than $10 million. Okay, so let me give you the peek around the corner here. The peek around the curtain. We gave you the peek around the corner yesterday. For those who did not watch our show yesterday, 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock yesterday. 6 o'clock Eastern time, 5 o'clock Central. We reported to you all that Kalen DeBoer, from who we talked to, our sources, had become the chalk to become the new head coach of the Washington Huskies. We couldn't say a lot, but we told you it was Kalen DeBoer. We were told that about noontime. And there was other people who were finding out as the day went on. We couldn't tell you why or how. We said it was like a Sarkisian, Steve Sarkisian, Kalen DeBoer, but Kalen DeBoer was target number one. And then during our live show, Pete Thamel did a report from ESPN, The Athletic, right? Everybody started coming out saying it was Kalen DeBoer, Mike Norvell, Tommy Rees. Those were the three candidates. And I said, one is not like the other. Mike Norvell versus Kalen DeBoer. We had a very strong opinion that it was going to be Kalen DeBoer. Mike Norvell, one of Jimmy Sexton's clients. He got a bump in pay. They all got a bump in pay. Look, this is what we were told. We were told precisely this. Kalen DeBoer was Alabama's number one target, with those that Alabama knew had interest in the job. That's it. That's it. And Sarkisian was well up there as well. Alabama was very interested in Sarkisian. So we knew, but we couldn't. Just like everything, we gave you a peek around the corner, but we couldn't say those exact words. We did a lot of hemming and hawing on the show last night, but those were the precise words. Alabama knew that Kalen DeBoer had big time interest, and that happened to be Alabama's number one target. I just broke this pen. So we were told that late. We were told that about noon o'clock Central Time. So when we came on at 6 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 o'clock Central Time last night, we reported to you that Kalen DeBoer was the chalk. Real late in the evening, we're talking about somewhere between 11:28 and 11:30 p.m. Central Time. We were told that Sarkisian, definitely wasn't going to happen, and this was Kalen DeBoer's job if they could get a deal done. Now, listen to me carefully. We had no idea that Kalen DeBoer in Alabama could get a deal done. Was going to get a deal done. I don't have a crystal ball. We knew that Kalen DeBoer was Alabama's number one target, and he had interest. So, we've been spending the day here waiting, watching, just like everybody else. We're not in the room. We don't have a crystal ball. All we could do was give you the correct peek around the corner. There's a reason we came on live last night. I gave you all that I could. Look, there's so much cloak and dagger stuff going on. We try to explain it to you all. I think the PATC community absolutely gets it. People don't want to lose their access. These reporters don't want to lose their access to Jimmy Sexton. They push the envelope as far as they can push it. I don't talk. No, Jimmy Sexton doesn't know me. Some of these reporters don't know me. Some do. And they don't want to lose access. Jimmy Sexton doesn't want to have to lose leverage for his clients. Reporters don't want to lose access to Jimmy Sexton in their big old Rolodex. And I don't want to lose a little bit of my access to some of these sources. So what we do here at Peek Around the Corner, we push the envelope as far as we can push it. We give you the information. And again, when I'm going to tell you guys a little story, and then we're going to get back into the situation of Alabama and Washington. I'm going to get back into Alabama and Washington. This is what we're talking about. When the Los Angeles Times did an article about us, breaking the USC story, they also covered another story in that article. The Los Angeles Times. And they got Ryan Burns from Minnesota 247 to talk about it. And part of that article written about me, was the story that we broke on PJ Fleck. On December 25th, 2016, I was told we had the information how the plan was from the athletic department at the University of Minnesota. That Tracy Claeys was going to get fired in 216 hours. I reported that. A crazy, crazy story. I reported that on Minnesota 247. I said Tracy Claeys is going to get fired in 216 hours. And then the other part of the information we got was PJ Fleck was going to be target number one. And there was going to be a 72-hour time span for Minnesota to hire PJ Fleck. If PJ Fleck didn't accept the 72 hours, Minnesota was going to go on to target number two. I reported this. Everybody thought I was nuts, but we had the story. We didn't know if PJ Fleck was going to be the new head coach. We didn't know if PJ Fleck in Minnesota was going to come to an agreement. Of course not. But we were able to give everybody a peek around the corner saying this is going to happen. So Tracy Claeys going 9-4, but there was a lot of scandal in the back. There was a lot of things going on. He was not fired 216 hours at the time I reported it. He was fired 220 hours after I reported it. And then PJ Fleck, suddenly the local news said PJ Fleck is the number one target. And then it did not take 72 hours. It took like 75, 76 hours. They worked late into a Thursday night to get it done. My point is, I couldn't say that PJ Fleck is the next head coach in Minnesota, even though we had all these intricate details. We had it all. Explained in Minnesota 247, explained in the Los Angeles Times, but I still couldn't say it was a definite deal because I was not in the room. I didn't know if PJ was going to say nope at the last second or Minnesota, whatever. Same type of situation here. We knew that Kalen DeBoer was target number one. We knew that Kalen DeBoer had interest in Alabama. How the rest played out, I was right with you guys. I had no idea. The best we can do is give you the peek around the corner. Now, I'm going to say this. Let me get to Super Chat here. Does that mean Feinbaum can stop crying over Saban retiring? Thank you, Ryan Willie, the evil badger, for your Super Chat. Thank you so very much. I don't know. I haven't been listening to Feinbaum. I don't know what he's saying, to be honest with you. I'm too busy with what I'm doing here, poking and prodding and reporting and trying to entertain the masses. I don't know what Feinbaum. I didn't know he was crying. I know they're pretty close, Feinbaum and Saban. I think Alabama's going to be just fine. So I think Feinbaum is going to stop crying. Okay, thank you, Ryan Willie. Appreciate the generosity. I will say this. Pete Carroll to Washington. A lot of Husky Duck fans throwing elbows at each other in the chat room. I will say this. We do not believe. Now, we are reporting something here, okay? We are reporting something here. We were told. Just going to make sure I'm not getting any last second so there are four names. There are four names that people are reporting on in regards to who's going to be the next Washington head coach. Matt Campbell, Jared Jones just brought his name up. Lance Leipold, Kansas. Ryan Grubb, the great offensive coordinator, Washington. And Jed Fish of Arizona. Again, we're not the day that Nick Saban was fired. I just speculated. I threw out a couple names: Lane Kiffin, Dan Lanning. I thought they were my two. But then the day after, which was yesterday, on our live show, we said that the chalk ended up being Kalen DeBoer. I don't have a chalk for you. All this just happened. I think it's been reported that Washington has spent the last 2 days basically cranking up their search team. I can show you a report on that, I believe. Let me see if I can find it. Maybe I can't find it. But I did see it reported. Okay, anyways, don't matter. Of those four names, Matt Campbell, Lance Leipold, Ryan Grubb, and Jed Fish, we were told that that Jed Fish of Arizona, you should not anticipate him to have interest in the job. So take that however you want it. Again, we're not reporting a chalk here on this live show. Maybe we break live tonight or early tomorrow morning. But we at this point we were told that there's a belief out there that the Arizona head football coach is not going to have interest for whatever reason. The other three, we weren't told anything. Lance Leipold, again, I believe he wants to stay at Lawrence, Kansas. Matt Campbell, I'm sure he'd be very interested. Ryan Grubb, I'm sure he's very interested. I'm sure Washington is interested in him. We're not ready to say that he's the chalk. Another important news item that I think we're going to be hearing about real soon is what type of coaching staff can Kalen DeBoer get around him, right? What is his coaching staff going to look like? Who can he get? I'm sure most definitely he's talking to people. I'm sure a lot of that is going to have a Southern flavor to it, right? Of course it is. He's got to recruit in the Southeast. Does Ryan Grubb go with them? Or does Ryan Grubb become the new head coach of Washington, or does he go on to something else, like the new offensive coordinator of Iowa, if Immaculate is watching? So we got to watch to see what coaching staff Kalen DeBoer builds around him. It's got to have a Southern flavor to it. It does. And I see it, and I saw a lot of comments. About Kalen DeBoer hasn't coached in the South ever, hasn't really recruited. And all that is true. We'll see what happens. Alabama's a great job. It has resources. It's going to probably have to pump up its NIL a little bit more because Nick Saban was able to sell the Alabama football program to his recruits. His just historic success. But I think we're going to go into this direct payment to the Players Trust Fund. Alabama's going to build a gigantic one. All that is going to happen, in my belief, sometime around August of this summer. So start thinking of that. Alabama war chest is going to be gigantic. And I think that's what Kalen DeBoer was thinking about. So we got to look at his coaching staff, see what happens, if Ryan Grubb goes with them or not. I don't have a chalk. I do not have a chalk at this moment for the Washington job, but it's an attractive job. Going into the Big Ten, they're going to have resources. Not as much as they're going to have 5-6 years from now, but they're going to have resources, a beautiful stadium, a beautiful fan base, a strong fan base, an engaged fan base, an area with money, rival with Oregon, USC, UCLA going into the Big Ten. Washington is a very attractive job, historical success. Next year is going to be a rebuilding year. Of course it is. They're losing everybody. And Dunze, he's gone. He's going to the NFL draft. So it's going to be a very interesting time here in the next... Well, Washington's going to act fast. They've been working on the DeBoer contract for months. He just hasn't signed. And I know I saw a report, I can't find it now, but there was a report that Washington, about 2 days ago, have restarting their search for the new head coach. Getting it ready, setting the table. Because they knew, or at least they had a reason to worry about Kalen DeBoer. Okay. I'm going to open up the phone lines. I'm going to open up the phone lines immediately here. Just another quick look here. Kalen DeBoer, born in 1974, won 3 NAIA football national championships. Born and raised in Millbank, South Dakota. Look at his coaching career. 25-3 at Washington. His entire head coaching career record is 104 wins, 12 losses. 104-12. So that's just a little bit of information. He has won everywhere he's gone. Unbelievable job at Washington. And I want to get your comments. Your phone calls. The line is open. 763-260-1333. 763-260-1333. Let me know, what do you think Washington is going to go? Who are they going to go after? Saban will be his ambassador to high school coaches. Great point, John D. JD, appreciate it. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it so very much, your generosity. Saban's not going anywhere. According to reports, he's going to have an office in the stadium. How is Bama's war chest going to be gigantic? Alums aren't rich. Applications and enrollment will drop. Alabama. Have you seen their athletic department and how much revenue they make? They're going to get a big time, starting in July 1st, they're going to have a big time media money coming into the athletic department.
Call from
Kirk.
Kirk, the floor is yours. What do you got to say?
Hey, Greg. First of all, Happy New Year to you.
Thank you.
Interesting day. I'm a Florida State guy.
All right.
I've called it a couple times before.
Yeah.
So very thankful that Coach Norvell chose to stick around at Florida State. And I fully believe that Alabama took, or at least kicked the tires, so to speak, on Coach Norvell. I had been a believer since all this kind of started to break about 72 hours ago, roughly, that Coach Norvell, based on a lot of his statements about, we, the team, the program, what we've built, things of that nature, I felt fairly strongly he wasn't going to go. But yesterday, listening to local Tallahassee radio show, started to get some doubts. So real happy today that he's sticking around. Interested to see that how Kalen DeBoer is going to do in Tuscaloosa. And I say that, and you kind of touched on it before, just a moment ago. Recruiting in the Southeast, and for coaches, for college coaches, getting to know the high school football coaches in the Southeast and the high school athletic directors, even, it kind of, for some people may look at it as kind of that's not a big deal, but those relationships are a big deal.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be interesting to see how Kalen DeBoer does, because I know he was at Indiana a couple of years ago, so primarily probably recruiting the Midwest, and then the Northwest at Washington. But I'm interested to see how he's going to do in Tuscaloosa. For me, as a Florida State fan, and as a fan of I want to see these guys, my squad, make the CFP and not get cheated out of the Invitational. Did I say that out loud? Get cheated out of the Invitational. I'm interested to see what kind of players, what kind of program DeBoer is going to create, what kind of culture he's going to create in Tuscaloosa. I'd like to hear your comments on that. I'll hang up and listen. Thanks, sir. And great show. Appreciate everything you're doing.
Appreciate it. Thank you much. I don't know about the culture question, but I'm very interested in Ryan Grubb. I think that is he going with the Kalen DeBoer or not? And if he's not, then I think then who's going to be the offensive coordinator? I don't think Kalen DeBoer is going to run what typically was Alabama's offense for most of Nick Saban's tenure. Not all of it, but most of it. I think, again, Jalen Milroe, what happens to him next year? Does he just become the starter next year? I mean, again, is he just, or does Kalen DeBoer bring in somebody else. There is this thing could go pear-shaped. It could go all different ways. But that offensive coordinator position is what I'm most interested in. And like you basically said, caller, he's gonna have to get himself known, right, through all those Southern high school football coaches and all that. There has been a couple examples. Brian Kelly never coached in the South. He became the head football coach of LSU. Nick Saban sort of did that 24 years ago. After 25 years of coaching, from 75 to 2000, he took the LSU job without having any Southern jobs. Now he didn't do. He did. Then he went on to Miami Dolphins, I think. And then he ended up in Alabama. So, Caleb Downs plans to enter the transfer portal. If somebody has a link to that, please send it to my DM. Appreciate it. PJ Fleck to Washington. I don't think PJ Fleck is going to be targeted by Washington. Raider Vision, going to be interesting to see how this hire plays out. Why he has a lot of wins. He has not been at a place long enough to build his own program and culture.
Call from
Immaculate.
Immaculate, Mr. Hawkeye is on the line. He's waiting for Ryan Grubb not to get the Washington head coaching job so they can snatch him in Iowa City. The floor is yours.
Well, you just continue to rail up the wins, man.
Well,
I'm gonna have
there's
to
a lot of
learn to
fortune
not go
to
against
that.
you one of these days.
We were very fortunate.
Yeah, I can't believe it came down to $1 million.
Is that what it said?
Well, there was some reports that they offered him up to $9 million,
Yep.
but they wouldn't say what they were offering for term, like for a period of time. What we saw from Norvell was he got 8 years, which is a pretty long time. And so I'm guessing it was either that little amount of money or maybe they weren't even getting close on the amount of time that they're willing to give. But, yeah, pretty close. I'm just kind of curious, like, what would have happened if they had made all the demands? Like, what Alabama would have went and done next? Because
good question. Good question.
I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll never know because
that
was the one. But, yeah, clearly he was right there at Alabama's list because by the time from Norvell actually putting out that number, because, Sarkisian and Lanning, they didn't have to put out how much they got or whatever, but Norvell did. I don't know if that's Florida Sunshine laws or if they just did that as a statement. But it wasn't long after that, and Alabama already had their number and everything ready to go. So, yeah, they were probably just waiting to see if Washington could pay enough, and clearly they could not.
Kalen DeBoer, Adam Rittenberg just reported 2 minutes ago. Kalen DeBoer is meeting with his staff now, told them he's leaving Washington for Alabama. So he's telling the staff right now. Breaking news on an Immaculate call. Not a surprise. Not a surprise.
Hopefully we'll get the breaking news that Grubb is heading to Iowa.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what we're all waiting on Grubb now. Washington's going to move quick. Grubb is there for the taking. Yeah. The only information we got is that Jed Fish, it's believed that he would not be interested in the job at this time. That's all that we've been told. I haven't had a chance, really, but...
Makes sense. From what some folks are saying, he's probably eyeballing the Florida job.
Okay.
But I don't know. I mean, Ferentz, he knows all these guys that are involved with this, and the guys that are, all retiring. It makes me wonder how much longer, because I've thought that maybe he only has 1 to 2 years, and he might be getting close. And if he said he was waiting until the third week in January before he says his decision, oh, here we are. We're just about there. So maybe he had some heads up that there was going to be a whole lot of chairs moving here.
Yeah.
So one can hope.
We'll
see how it goes.
Well, like, what is there any steam in Iowa about, besides Paul Christ? Is there anything else happening? Anybody writing anything differently?
There has been nothing ever since Ferentz came out and said second to third week in January he'd have his decision. Ever since then, I've seen bits and pieces from writers, and they're all like, "Oh, Alabama gets theirs in 3 days. We're still here waiting." So I don't think anyone really knows. He said that, and it just went quiet. So we're all just waiting. We have no idea. I don't know. I found that very, very interesting, though. Like, I just can't see Grubb being willing to go underneath any of the guys that I see listed.
I agree with you. I don't see him going to Alabama.
I mean, he's got to be the top offensive coordinator guy that you're looking at. If you're looking to raise up someone to a head coach and you want to have a power offense, he's got to be the guy at this point in time. I mean, with what Washington did, the offensive line, running, passing, I mean, it was just a complete offense. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't got much more on that. I just, well done. I got to tell you, I was sweating bullets because there for a little while we were kind of going back and forth, and I can't believe this. I'm actually going opposite of Greg again. I got no chance.
Well, it's fun. It makes it fun. We didn't know if there was going to be a deal made. Obviously, you know how it is. These are humans,
I mean, you
man.
knew that.
Right?
You knew he was the number one looked at by Alabama, and you were right, absolutely. And it worked out that way. So now we get to move on to all the stuff that probably actually matters more.
Yeah, yes. And, I think by the end of next week, we're going to be talking about something else. Hint, hint, wink, wink. So, alrighty, sir. There's
a lot coming out here in Phoenix right now, so we'll see what the final is today after the convention. But you have yourself a good one. Talk to you again here.
Got it.
Probably pretty. By the way, we are having a show tonight. If you want to stop by, come hang out. There's going to be. Looks like he's putting together a big round robin tonight. We're going to have a bunch of folks come.
Got it. Okay.
Hope to see folks there tonight. You guys have a good one.
You got it. Appreciate it. Great call by Mr. Hawkeye. Yeah, we don't have a crystal ball here at Peek Around the Corner. We give you a peek around the corner. The peek was that Kalen DeBoer was the chalk. We reported it last night. But, could we get ourselves inside that room to figure out what was going on? No, we did not know. We were just waiting along with all you. But we did know that that they were Kalen DeBoer was Alabama's number one target, and that Kalen DeBoer was interested. What happens after that? We did not know what was going to happen, so we waited. When we saw the Sarkisian, when I saw the Sark tweet here, and then I passed it on to the people that I were talking to, that told me that Kalen DeBoer was the chalk. This really kind of sealed the deal. The Mike Norvell thing, I think that was a Jimmy Sexton, here you go, Norvell, you're going to get a raise out of this. And a lot of that with Sarkisian because he probably did not have interest in the job. But Alabama, we believe, had interest in Sarkisian. If Kalen DeBoer would not have that interest. But Kalen had interest. Alabama, that was their guy, number one target. But the Mike Norvell thing, again, we are going to, we don't think that was really, that might have been a little bit of a cover for Kalen DeBoer. In other words, if Kalen DeBoer would not have, if he would have walked away at the very last moment from the table with Alabama, we don't think Mike Norvell was the next guy. I think Mike Norvell was Florida State. And Jimmy Sexton played the game right. Pete Thamel put up, these are the three. He actually said two. Kalen DeBoer and Mike Norvell, and then other people added Tommy Reese, which I don't know who it would have been if it wasn't Kalen DeBoer, but it wasn't going to be Mike Norvell. Anyways, phone lines are open. 763-260-1333. 763-260-1333. Breaking news. Washington Star cornerback Jabbar Muhammad has entered the transfer portal. Jabbar Muhammad has entered the transfer portal. The great cornerback of the Washington Huskies. We saw him all year long. Got a little bit nicked up in the championship game. Not nicked up. I think he got injured. I don't know. I don't remember. Was it his shoulder? End up being his shoulder? Jabbar Muhammad? All Pac-12 selection after coming over from Oklahoma State.
Call from
JD.
JD, Mr. Seminole is on the line. The floor is yours.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good.
Well, you ended up being correct, and I was wrong, and I realized early this morning I was wrong. Was the Alabama very interested in Norvell? Yes, they were. I don't know if DeBoer was 1 and Norvell was 1A, or, as they got down the list, I don't know. I got the impression, though, Mike didn't want to leave. But when there was definite interest from Bama, his agent did him well for sure. I mean, he did, because there was so much more at play than just getting a bump in pay. He got a bump in resource pay for the football program. Plus, Mike in the last 3 days has acquired a next level status now.
Mm-hmm.
Inside the Alabama administration, he really was a candidate. I mean, it wasn't just a name. They would have been very happy to move on with him. DeBoer was ahead, was for sure. But if they were wanting to move on to Mike, they felt comfortable doing it. But Mike wanted to stay, and I'm thankful for that. You got to look at it in that aspect. Napier wasn't even rumored. Mario wasn't rumored. So who's the preeminent coach in the state of Georgia? I mean, in the state of Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hands down.
Yeah.
I mean that is such a recruiting edge now to say I was on the short list to replace Nick Saban. And it wasn't just something the agent threw out there. It was real. And that was coming from Alabama folks. So now your information was corrected. So I think Norvell was just throwing little hints out to the fan base, yesterday when some of these kids were recruiting and are committing in the last couple of days. And then I think on your show I saw last night where Jen said that she got some information from the staff that Norvell was staying. So there was enough threat that he would leave, but he wasn't going as long as he got what he needed, and he did. And there's something to kind of Jeff Cameron, and when your last caller, I think his name was Kirk, he's an FSU guy, was talking about the radio show, Jeff Cameron.
Yeah.
That's what Jeff Cameron was talking about, is that pay attention that if something gets done, one of the biggest factors, not just money, is assurances. Assurances, we're about to get out of here. We're about to leave. And not 5 years from now, 3 years, and I don't mean in 2023 we're out of 2024, but in the next year or two. This isn't going to drag on for years. And I know we say, oh yeah, well we know this. Well, you still got to win in court. You still got to have all these things work out. And if they're going to tell Norvell, it'll be 2028 before we're out of here, he might leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure he was given some assurances that they feel pretty good about the way things are going to go. Have you talked to anyone? Is there any way where, I know this sounds a little far-fetched, any possibility that Fox would negotiate with ESPN for FSU's rights?
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. No.
I know that's a little out of the...
I say that because we have been consistent and strong in this, that Florida State's going to have to untangle themselves first before the big boys talk at the table. This is they're going to have to own their own rights again, or be able to pay and settle to get their own rights, and then they can negotiate with Big Ten of the SEC seriously. So
Sure.
No, I don't think that's going to happen. That's coming from. Can't say that where that's coming from, but that's what we believe.
Well, the only reason I say that is I haven't heard anything, but I was listening to Jeff, and he was talking today that you get the impression that ESPN is probably not going to renew the ACC deal, or at least not in its current form.
Yeah.
There's really, why would you?
Yeah. And
that means in a few years it's done. And if this was to drag out till 25, 26, well, ESPN's going to preemptively try to make the move to move FSU to the SEC. They just will,
yeah.
And they don't want the property to leave. And so that's why it kind of came up in my mind where if that's the case, the longer this goes on, the more likely they go to the SEC. Would Fox make some type of a power move? And would they try to acquire their rights? I don't know. It was just kind of an outside the box thinking. That's all.
Yeah.
But and the last thing before I go here, I'm not worried about DeBoer and you don't know. You made a good point on his on whether or not he can establish a good culture, or whether the culture, what type of culture he would have, because he's only been at certain places for a shorter period of time. That's a valid point. As far as the recruiting aspect, they got mercenaries, man. they know everybody, and that's not going to fall off. Now,
no, it isn't.
And it's just, do the power players take over him, and that's the aspect, and that's what I don't know. Is he a strong enough personality, and we'll find out. But he's an obvious winner for sure. So his success. But Is he more of? He's more of an offensive guy, right?
Oh, you know what? Let me just. I had that up for a second here. Hold on. He was a offensive coordinator for Sioux Falls. Offensive coordinator at Southern Illinois. And wide receiver coach. Offensive coordinator, quarterback at Eastern Michigan. Offensive coordinator at Fresno State, Indiana. Had a very short but successful Fresno State head coaching career. And then Washington. So, yeah, he's from the offensive side of the ball. He started as a wide receivers coach. Yeah.
His OC, has he been with him the whole way?
Midwest and the West.
No, I mean his offensive coordinator that he has at Washington. Has he gone with him at all these different stops, or has he only been with him a few years?
No, I think early on, let's see here. He was South Dakota State, Sioux Falls, Eastern. Yeah, he's been with them for many of those years. Yeah.
That would be the only question on their offensive success. It's obvious he's a good coach.
Yeah.
But who's been the mastermind behind the offense? And that'll be the.
Yeah, Grubb was with him at Sioux Falls. He followed him at Eastern Michigan. He followed him Fresno State. So, yeah, he's been with them pretty much the whole time.
Okay. I was just kind of curious. But, all right, sir. Well, I appreciate it and enjoy your show as always.
You got it. I appreciate it. Great phone call, Mr. Seminole. Brett McMurphy. Kalen DeBoer's first SEC game is at Alabama, September 28th versus Georgia. Bama is 2.5-point underdog to Georgia at FanDuel. DeBoer is 7-3 straight up as an underdog. The best winning percentage as an underdog of any college coach since 1990. I tell you, man, this guy has been just impressive wherever he's been. And, Grateful Trojan giving him a few elbows in the chat room this afternoon, calling it now, Bama will finish 8-4 next year. Maybe, but I think some of you are underselling him just a little bit, right? Right? He was a wide receiver at Sioux Falls. That's true. He replaced Tedford at Fresno. DeBoer will win at Bama, but it is all about expectations. 9-3 will not cut it there. But 9-3, Alabama and the SEC will probably get you in to the college football playoffs. Maybe not every single year, but I'm guessing most years. And if you get to the playoffs, you win a playoff, you win a national championship, right? Remember that. We're in the college football playoff expansion era. Is everybody in the chat thinking that DeBoer will not bring Alabama to the college football playoffs? You don't think Alabama will be in the college football playoffs twice out of the next 3 years? We shall see. We shall see. Phone lines open 763-260-1333. If you're new to the channel, if you like our content, or if you haven't done so yet, please hit the subscribe button and open up your notifications. Make sure they are turned on, because we can come on live at any time. We warned you yesterday. We said once there is a Alabama coaching hire, and we thought it was going to be Kalen DeBoer, we were going to come on live. And that's exactly what happened. So please turn on your notifications, subscribe, smash the like button. If you want to become an early peak member, $4.99, college football's Cloak and Dagger early peak, just hit the join button. These are videos where we drop a little bit of information, right? A little bit of Cloak and Dagger info, a nugget of information. We drop it in these early peak episodes for early peak members, and then we talk about it live. All you got to do is hit the join button, become an early peak member. You also, when you are an early peak member, you can, if you're on the $4.99 level, you can buy gift memberships for people in the chat room. So if you're interested, you can do that as well. Expedition Gray, early peak member himself. There's still a lot more to come in this really busy off season. That is absolutely true. Every week I say we're going to be busy next week. I'm telling you right now, Friday, January 12th, 4:46 p.m. Eastern Time, there is an opportunity at the end of next week, towards the end of next week, we're going to get real busy. We're going to get real busy once again here at Peek Around the Corner. Just giving you a little peek. Just giving you a little peek. We talked about the ACC update yesterday on a live show, where the ACC was able to hire lawyers for Leon County and Mecklenburg County. We'll get to that in a second. There is something I want to get to, though. I'm dying to talk about it. It's too early yet. It's still too early. Expedition Gray gifted one college football Peek Around the Corner membership. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Immaculate scooped it up. Appreciate it so very much. Cameron B, Rock Chalk Jayhawk Kleiman, Chris Kleiman of Washington. Ooh, that's an interesting one. That's an interesting one. We're going to keep an eye on that one. Thank you, Cameron B. We haven't heard anything on that, but we'll do a little poking and prodding on that one. No question about it. Cameron B., thank you so very much for your generosity to this channel, your continued generosity to this channel. Thank you so much. Ted Evans, thank you so much for the Peek Around the Corner gift membership. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Husky. Thank you very much. Jan Holk, you now are a new member of Peek Around the Corner Cloak and Dagger. So Immaculate, Jan, make sure make sure you go to the early peak. I think we're dropping one tomorrow. In fact, I'm about 90% sure we're going to be dropping one tomorrow. Very early hours, early peak episode. Going to give a little cloak and dagger, probably on the coaching carousel. Just hit the join button. Now, keep in mind, whatever we say on those membership-only episodes, we do bring up on the live show later on. But you're getting the early peak, right? The early peak on Peek Around the Corner. That's what you're getting as a member. So I appreciate all your generosity. I appreciate it. Jan is our Slovakian friend. Nice to have you on board, Jan. Appreciate it. Okay. ACC. We talked about this on our last live show. A couple small timeline updates. FSU ACC case. The ACC on Wednesday officially hired a team of 5 Tallahassee-based lawyers to defend the conference in the lawsuit Florida State brought in Leon County in late December. The ACC's legal team, the big one is Alan Lawson. Okay? So ACC's got their team ready in Leon County. Alan Lawson is a recently retired Florida State Supreme Court justice. Think about that. Recently retired Florida Supreme Court who just founded his firm, and now they're repping the ACC. So they got the big guns. They got a big old gun down there for Leon County, the ACC. In the lawsuit in ACC filed in Mecklenburg County, the ACC has hired a team of 3 lawyers, Bond, Dickinson, Charlotte office. Okay, so they got their... Okay. So let me get to the point that I'm trying to get to here. There is a point that I'm trying to get to. I promise. We're not playing around here. We're giving you what we believe to be an accurate peek around the corner. Donnie McNerney, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your generosity to myself and others. Gifted a 1 Peek Around the Corner membership. Thank you, Donnie. I appreciate your generosity so very much. Thank you so very much. Here's the deal. Larry, the GM, was gifted the membership. Thank you, Donnie. Appreciate it so very much. Here is the deal. Here's the problem. Here is the problem. So the problem is people watch this show. That's the problem. I want people to watch the show. I want people to watch it. Ryan Willie, I'm going to get to your incredible generosity. Ryan, the Evil Badger, thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. Anthony, Two Master, Skull Ducky, Don in Kansas, BR7062, thank you as well. Well, Ryan, I need to get to something here. But I'm going to spend time on thanking you, Mr. Evil Badger, for your incredible generosity. But I got to get to something here. Okay, we'll do it right now. Ryan, Thank you so much, Evil Badger. I was going to push it off for a minute so I could get to what I wanted to say. But then, you being the Evil Badger and me being the Evil Gopher, I figured you'd probably hold it against me, and I didn't want you to hold it against me. So thank you so much for your incredible generosity. Thank you so very much. All the people giving gift memberships, thank you so very much. It's great that people now get to watch the early peak member videos. Thank you. Thank you, Ryan. Rock and Rant, Alabama will receive. But some kids come for Saban. Yeah, I agree with that. Super chat, thank you, Rock and Rant. But maybe some will go to Alabama. Now, Rock and Rant's probably going to laugh at me. He called me naive yesterday. Rock and Rant called me naive yesterday. I remember that. And you're probably right. And I'm going to be naive when I say this. Although we were accurate. Maybe there's a cat or two, a dude or two that goes to Alabama eventually because it's Kalen DeBoer. What do you think of that? Now, it ain't going to be like the legendary Saban, but maybe Kalen DeBoer bringing a little bit of offense, a deep type of offense. Maybe somebody goes there that would have not gone to Tuscaloosa if it wasn't for Kalen DeBoer. What do you think of that? Thank you for the super chat, Rock Chat. Thank you so very much. Thank you, Coy, once again for your gift membership. Thank you so much for gifting someone an early peak Cloak and Dagger membership. Thank you, Coy, for your generosity. I do very much appreciate it. Thank you, sir, very much. Kyle Visser was gifted the membership. Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. Trayvon Henderson is coming back to Ohio State. Holy smokes. Trayvon Henderson is coming back. Does that mean Quinshon Judkins is going to leave? Or are they going to have a Quinshon Judkins, Trey Henderson backfield with Will Howard? My head's about to explode. My head is exploding. Okay, let's get to what I was talking about. Anthony, how do member chats work? Okay, Corey's going to help you out on that, Anthony. Okay, let's get to it. I haven't given you guys any information for about an hour. Okay, here's the deal. Any chance Jonathan Smith goes back to Washington? I think no, I do not at this point. Thank you, Jan, for the super chat. I appreciate your generosity so very much. No, Jonathan Smith, he hired Joe Rossi. He took Mike Gopher's defensive coordinator. They've come out with a they have a whole new branding going on. What is it called? In-state, I forget what it's called. They've got a whole new vibe going on at East Lansing. A whole new vibe. Jonathan Smith is changing everything there. Not right now. He's not going back to Washington. Okay, so we talked about ACC. Having their own team in Leon County, their own team in Mecklenburg County, right? We know here at Peek Around the Corner, we know, and you can take this however you want to take it, but we know that Clemson and Florida State have had a whole lot of communication between them. They're not worried about collusion anymore. So we know that Clemson knew everything that Florida State, or basically everything that Florida State was going to present at the Board of Trustees. We know for sure, and you don't have to believe me, you can chew me out in the chat or with a phone call. The lines are open. But we know here at Peek Around the Corner that Clemson and Florida State are in agreement that there is strength in numbers. So here is ACC spending a whole lot of money in Leon County, a whole lot of money in Mecklenburg County. Well, they may have to spend a whole lot of money in a county somewhere in South Carolina. The price to battle this is going up for the ACC. We believe. So I think we're going to hear more about, we potentially could hear more about this at the end of next week. January 20th through February 6th. That's what we were told the game plan was. Now the game plan changed at Florida State. We were told December 22nd, 2022. We reported it for 12 months, or almost 12 months, 11 and a half months, that it was going to be quarter one of 2024 when Florida State put the stake in the ground, but the plan changed. They did it December 22nd, 9 days before quarter one. So, could it change a little bit here for Clemson? Maybe, but nothing has told, no indications that anything big, there's no big difference in Clemson's plan. That's what we're being told here at Peek Around the Corner. So we're going to keep an eye on it late next week. So keep your head on a swivel. Strength in numbers. I'm going to do a live show sometime next week. Strength in numbers. That's what we're going to call it. So buckle up. Again, phone lines open. 763-260-1333. I do see that Travion Henderson is coming back. My question, of course, is now, is Quinshon Judkins okay with Travion Henderson coming back? Is he okay with that? What do you think? Brett McMurphy, Ohio State running back Travion Henderson announces he will return to what will be a loaded Ohio State team in 2024. They got so many players coming back. And they've got themselves a new quarterback. Emeka, the great wide receivers coming back. He announced today or yesterday. I can't keep it all straight, really. I cannot keep it all straight. How many Buckeyes have been coming back?
Call from
Moen.
Moen, Mr. Buckeye. The Buckeyes are loaded, stacked. Holy smokes. What are you thinking, sir?
Well, we're not done yet, Greg.
Uh-oh.
Not by a long shot.
Uh-oh.
We're taking Caleb Downs, too. We're taking
Oh,
Caleb Downs
no.
from Alabama.
No.
Yeah.
Do the Gophers play the Buckeyes
Yes,
next
it's
year?
gonna happen. I don't think you guys do. I think you get off this year.
Thank God. I know we play Michigan and USC. We got enough problems. Thank goodness we don't play the Buckeyes. Hallelujah. Hold on a second. I got to play a song here. Hold on. Gophers do not play the Buckeyes in 2024. Okay, I apologize, Moen. The floor is yours.
All right. Yeah, I was just going to let you know. Yeah, Travion Henderson and Judkins, the rumor was this was discussed when Judkins signed.
Okay.
That they were going to run a two-back system. So save tread on both their tires, so to speak, and prepare them for the NFL.
Wow. Wow.
You got to think how many kids from Washington are getting ready to enter that portal.
Well, they've already lost a bunch of them. They've lost a bunch of value already. I don't know how much.
Right.
Jabbar, the great cornerback, he's in the portal. That was just announced. Jabbar Muhammad. Yeah, I guess. But I think they're going to move quickly, right? They got to move quickly. The only thing we've been told, it's not going to, Jed Fish is not going to be interested. But that's all we know.
The best move for them would be to just elevate the OC Grubb to head coach. He's the actual mastermind of all that offense. So if he wants to hold on to the offensive playmakers he has there, it makes the most sense for Washington to move quickly, get him signed to a head coaching contract so those kids don't enter the portal, at least on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah. Yeah, that may happen. That very well, and I think Washington fans probably want that to happen. Elevate Grubb.
Yeah, you're not going to get a name out there right now, so just elevate Grubb. You got a nice young coach to go in there and start shaking some things up.
Yeah.
Lock him down to a 4 or 5 year contract, and you should be okay. They're going to have to rebuild a little bit anyway, so they already knew they were in for a rebuild. So I think that's the best option for Washington. Wanted to see what you thought about Harbaugh. Rumor is that San Diego has put a pause at looking at Harbaugh as a head coaching candidate. Do you think he's coming back to Michigan, or do you think he's just telling them, hey, I'm not going to look at the Chargers job because I'm looking at another NFL job in particular? More than likely,
the rumor
Raiders
was San Diego has put a pause on it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, in our early peak episode, I don't remember which number it is. I think it's the last one we dropped for early peak members. You can take a look at it. We believe at Peek Around the Corner that the number one job that Harbaugh is looking at is the Las Vegas Raiders. And we put that out there about 3 days ago. We were told something. We put it on our episode. So we don't think the Chargers is the number one. But we'll see. We'll see. We were told something along the lines of Harbaugh wants that fraternity in NFL. He feels like, anyway, blah, 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 blah. You go watch the video. But the main point is that Las Vegas Raiders, Harbaugh would have the key to drive, to have the power that he wants in Vegas. So
you think the odds are still that he goes to the NFL then?
Yeah, I do. But I'll see that. Forward me that report. That sounds pretty interesting. That maybe, at least it's maybe dwindling down to maybe 2 NFL teams instead of 3. Maybe it's between the Commanders and the Raiders. I don't know. We think it's the Raiders if he goes.
Yeah, I think that's the best bet if San Diego's putting a pause on it.
Yeah.
That'd be his best option. So, all right, Greg, that's all I had to say. I just wanted to let you know there is no discontent in the Ohio State backfield.
Okay.
And,
so me spreading around
once we
will
get
not
Caleb
work.
Downs, when we get Caleb Downs here, we should be set. We might need some more O linemen, but we just need to get that Caleb Downs kid here in Columbus.
Got it. Yeah, he's a great, strong safety, man. He had a great freshman
and we're gonna,
year. Let's put it that way. All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks, Greg. Bye-bye.
Great call from Mr. Buckeyes. Columbus is celebrating. They are celebrating. Even Will Howard is a big dude. That whole backfield is big. Emeka is coming back. JT. I'm only going to say JT. I cannot pronounce that name. The defensive line. He's coming back. They're all coming back. Jack Sawyer's coming back. The only one that's not coming back is Harrison. I think Jack Sawyer's coming back. Yeah, he's coming back. Yep, he's coming back. They're almost all coming back. Yikes. Suddenly the Big Ten, Oregon, Ohio State, and then you're looking at, I just can't trust Penn State next year. That third spot in the Big Ten, J.J. McCarthy, is he coming back next year for Michigan? What's going to happen with Jim Harbaugh? That third spot, that's open. That is open. Maybe a dark horse can sneak in there and then get to the playoffs. Maybe Wisconsin. Tyler Van Dyke. Maybe USC. Miller Moss. I don't know. It's going to be exciting. Opie, thank you so much for your incredible generosity once again to this channel. Thank you so very much. Wait, I'm just getting here. You should want to play Ohio State the way you will be in the Big Ten championship game. Opie, you're either on something or onto something. I happen to believe you're on something, but that's beside the point. Thank you, Opie. I appreciate your incredible generosity. I tell you what, every time I look at the Gophers' schedule, which is like once every 2 days, I get the shakes, man. We are in trouble. Thank you, Opie. Appreciate it so very much. You make a very good point. Phone lines are open again, 763-260-1333, 763-260-1333. Caleb Downs has told his teammates he's planning. Send that to me in a DM. Send that to me in a DM. I like how Son of Sarek is saying. Same thing as Opie. Hold on here. Somebody said there was a report on, again, T-Duck, send that to me in a DM on my Twitter account at Flug Empire. Just send me the copy, I would take a look at that. I cannot believe Jonathan Smith would want to leave Michigan State right now. Don't quite understand that. Gerald McKinley, there has been a growing optimism that Harbaugh returns. Harbs is a day-by-day guy, though, so what's true yesterday may not be true today or tomorrow. Greg, you need faith, particularly in the offseason. You're right, Tony. You're right. You are correct. You are correct. I got faith, baby. I got faith. Okay, let's just see if there's any more news that have come out in the college football world. And here's what we've been talking about. JT, the great edge rusher, JT, he's going to bypass the NFL draft to return for his NFL season. Cornerback Denzel Burke, Emeka Ubuka, great wide receiver, the great edge rusher, Jack Sawyer, Williams, the defensive tackle, the guard, Donovan Jackson, projected top 100 prospects are all going back to Columbus. These guys are first round, second round, third round NFL draft picks, and they're all coming back. And then Travion Henderson is coming back. Yeah, this reminds me of the Washington Huskies, right? They ran it back one more year because they knew they had an opportunity to have a special season. And boy, they did. Boy, did they ever. If DeBoer left Washington, Jonathan Smith could leave Michigan State. It's a little different, though. Jonathan Smith hasn't coached his first game for Michigan State. But, possibly. Who's got over and under 3.5 wins for the Gophers? You got to be out of your mind. Who put that line up there? Who put 3.5? No, they're going to be over 3.5. Come on, guys. Come on. All right, let's just see if there's anything else out there. Adam Rittenberg, ESPN. Putting together his Washington candidates list. And notice, Kansas State coach Chris Kleinman and Washington's athletic director Troy Dannon, the new athletic director at Washington, both attended Northern Iowa around the same time. In overlap there during Dannon's first years at University of Northern Iowa athletic director. So Chris Kleiman and Troy Dannon overlapped. They overlapped a little bit. Let me know what you think about Chris Kleiman as a potential candidate. There's also something else I want to get to here. Okay, I might have to read this off my phone. Everyone, just hold on a second. Maybe I won't be able to get to it here. Hold on. Well, I'll keep looking for some. I'm looking for a report that's out there. Greg, who do you think the Gophers will beat next year? I want to see Max Brosmere play in the spring football game. Let's just watch Max Brosmere in the Gopher spring football game. He was the best FCS quarterback in the country last year. I got to watch him play. I cannot be making solid Gopher predictions until I see this cat play. Then we'll take it from there. We will take it from there. The running game is going to be awfully good. Their defensive line is going to be good. Their offensive line is going to be good. The back seven is going to run into problems. But I got to see what the quarterback, Max Brosmere, look like. They're pretty excited. I guess his measurables came in a little bit bigger than they thought because he's already practiced with the team. This is last year of eligibility. He dominated FCS. He's a real smart quarterback. We're going to find out. We're going to find out a lot in that spring football game. And we're going to be doing watch parties of spring football games. And, of course, Minnesota's going to be one of them. So I will answer that question, son of Sarek, after I get a look at Max Brosmere. Okay, I need to find... Yeah, we saw that, Ted. Lance Leopold, Jed Fish, Matt Campbell, Ryan Grubb, and of course, when Pete Thamel says the name, it's really important to pay attention to it because he has the Rolodex of all the agents, all the connections. We did hear before we came on live that the person told us they thought Jed Fish would ultimately not be interested in that particular job in this particular year. But we're going to do more poking and prodding on all this stuff. We're going to have more information for you, Ted, and everybody else either tonight or probably tomorrow when we do a live show. Let me let's see here. I got to find this report. Hold on. This is bumming me out. I had the Buckeyes return nearly every starter, but they're bringing in a new quarterback and running back. A team that went 11-1 last year, 6-point loss on the road to the national champions. And I cannot find that report. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Now I should be able to. Okay. Let's see here. Hold on. I think I got something here, guys. Hold on. Come on. Come on. Okay, this is an article on ESPN Plus. Washington, who are the candidates? Washington now must act quickly but intelligently to maintain its trajectory without DeBoer and most likely several key assistants and staff members who could follow him. The Huskies will enter the Big Ten this coming season, but must replenish their roster. The school athletic director, Troy Gannon from Tulane, in October, he made a home run hire with Willie Fritz. We know that. Here's a look at the possible options. Washington offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb, a career that got jump-started with a $2,700 annual salary to work for DeBoer at Sioux Falls, has skyrocketed in recent years. Grubb has become one of the nation's top offensive coordinators. You know all about that. Lance Leipold. Then they talk about Chris Kleiman. Like Leipold, Kleiman initially excelled outside of FBS, helping North Dakota State win 4 FCS national titles. Jed Fish. He revived an Arizona program at one of its lowest points. Fish has also had experience, with Michigan and Minnesota in the Big Ten. He returns a very strong team in the Big 12. He might want to hold out for an opening at Florida. And again, we were told in these words, Jed Fish is not going to be interested in this particular job at this particular time. So take that however you want. We open the show with that information. Yeah, he might hold out for his alma mater, Florida. Washington's wide receiver coach, Jamarcus Shepard. So Grubb is not the only internal candidate that Washington might look at. He knows about the Big Ten footprint. He worked under offensive coaches DeBoer and Jeff Braun. Iowa State coach Matt Campbell. He was on Washington's candidate list last time around and had support from former Husky coach Chris Peterson and others. Wake Forest coach Dave Clawson. Clawson drew significant interest from Washington before it hired Kalen DeBoer. So those are a lot of the names. A lot of the names that ESPN just put out candidates for the Washington job. Phone lines are open. 763-260-1333. 763-260-1333. The lines is open. Talk anything in college football that you want. Looking for the latest news. Again, and Alabama's Isaiah Bond, the great, really good wide receiver. He's in the transfer portal. CBS Sports. CBS Sports. I'll show you the report that just came out on CBS Sports in relations to coaching candidates. Jeff Beaver, I never put much emphasis on spring football games. Quarterbacks cannot normally be tackled. Defenses are pretty generic. Very true. The Gophers are about as close to a real game atmosphere as you can get when it comes to spring football games. And I'm not talking about atmospheres, people in the stands. I'm talking about they play actual quarters. There's actual tackling, not the quarterback, but everybody else. Running time is the same. The score is the same. The defenses are not generic. They're blitzing. They play it like a real game. The only difference is the quarterback are not tackled. I just want to see Max Brosmere. Of course, he looks great in those FCS games. They're already talking about how incredibly gifted he is when it comes to processing the field. He's going to be a doctor. So I just want to see him play. If I get a bad sense, I'm going to say 5-7 again, just like I predicted last year, or 4-8. But if he is the guy that the Gophers think he is, then we're looking at possible 8-4. Because the running game is going to be fantastic. The offensive line is going to be very good. The defensive line is going to be very good. A team like North Carolina, we couldn't play North Carolina this year. They had Drake May, and our back seven was all year long. We were playing third string guys from the very get-go. They're not going to have Drake May. We're going to open up this season against the Tar Heels, and we have a history of pushing around ACC teams. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what the Tar Heels got when they come into Huntington Bank Stadium Thursday night to open the season. Bring it on, Tar Heels. Bring it on. Okay. What was I going to say? Oh, we got a report from CBS Sports. Chris Kleiman, Ryan Grubb, Lance Leipold among options to replace Kalen DeBoer. 4 minutes ago. DeBoer. We've already went through all that. Troy Dannon. Let's break down some of the potential replacements. Ryan Grubb. If Washington wants to keep he a protege who worked with DeBoer at all three of his head coaching stops. Grubb was the architect of Washington's offense that produced the top passer in the nation. Grubb actually turned down Alabama's last season after meeting with Saban about the offensive coordinator position. Chris Kleiman. DeBoer is recognized as a winner, which is exactly what Kleiman has been throughout his career. North Dakota State, Kansas State, Lance Leipold, Jed Fish, Dave Clawson, Matt Campbell. These are the same names. So, CBS, ESPN, they have the same names listed. So things are already in motion. Remember, Washington already really started their search 2 days ago in anticipation that they might lose Kalen DeBoer. So they're already working on it. So when these reporters are already calling, the agents are already saying, yeah, this. So the list may not be totally accurate, but it's probably the next coach of the Washington Huskies is probably on that list. Ryan Willie Leipold goes to Washington, then goes to Wisconsin after Fickell leaves for Ohio State. You think Leipold's got 2 more moves in him? He's 60 years old. Isn't he 59, 60? His wife says he wants him to stay in Lawrence, Kansas. So you think his wife is going to have him go all the way to Washington and then all the way back to Madison? Thank you for the super chat, Ryan Willie. Appreciate it so very much. Appreciate your continued generosity to the channel. You are already worried? You are already worried about Fickell going to the Buckeyes? I think Fickell's going to stay at Wisconsin for many, many years. That's just my impression. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it so very much. I don't think Lanning was number 1. I don't think so. I do not think so. I think the number 1 target was Kalen DeBoer the whole time. That's what we were told. Yeah, I think I agree with you, Mr. Monkey says. I think Leipold is staying in Kansas until he's done. I think he's just staying there. They like it there. We'll see. Fickell going nowhere. The evil Badger Jeff Olson is in the house. The evil Badger Jeff Olson and the evil Badger Ryan Willie disagree with each other. Okay, we're going to shut down the live show. We've been on for almost 2 hours. Breaking news. Kalen DeBoer, Washington Huskies head coach, is now the head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Kalen DeBoer, who has won everywhere he has gone. Everywhere he has gone, he has won. Alabama went for a winner. Who's going to be in his coaching staff. Is Ryan Grubb, the great offensive coordinator, following? Is he going to go with Kalen DeBoer to Alabama? I don't think he's going to do that, but we shall see. He has followed Kalen DeBoer wherever he has gone. So those two combo at Alabama, we shall see. We shall see. And then who are the other candidates? Matt Campbell, Chris Kleiman, supposedly Lance Leipold, Jed Fish. Who do you think is going to be? Who do you think is going to be the next head football coach of the soon-to-be a Big Ten Conference member, Washington Huskies? Who do you think? Hopefully by tomorrow, I'm going to be able to give you a little bit more of the landscape of what is going on at the coaching search. Last night, 5 o'clock Central Time, 6 o'clock Eastern, we came on live out of the blue. We told you that Kalen DeBoer was the chalk to become the new head coach at Alabama. It happened today. We'll see what we talk about tomorrow in our live show. Keep your head on a swivel. If you're new to this channel, please hit the subscribe button and open up your notifications. Turn them on because we can come on live at any time. Anytime I get information. Last night's show was a prime example. 5 o'clock Central Time, we came on live. We told you at the start of the show, Kalen DeBoer is now the chalk. An hour later into the live show, ESPN, Pete Thamel, it's Kalen DeBoer and Mike Norvell. The Athletic repeated the same thing 30 minutes after ESPN, and so forth, and so on, and so forth, and so on. But you got the early peek here at Peek Around the Corner. Before anybody else, the PATC community was told who was the chalk, who was the perceived chalk in media. Let's just put it that way. It turned out that Kalen DeBoer in Alabama was able to make a deal. So who's going to be the chalk in the Washington job? Will I have that information for you tomorrow? Possibly. I'm going to be working on it. As you all know, I work a lot harder off camera than I do on camera to provide you the best peek around the corner in college football throughout the college football landscape. Please, before you leave, smash the like button if you liked our content. If you didn't like our content, hit the thumbs down button. Let me know in the chat room or on Twitter, on X. Let me know how we can better serve you, the college football consumer. This weekend, I'm planning on coming on live. I'm planning to have some information for you. By the end of next week, there's going to be some movement, some heavy drama. Somehow, some way, I got a feeling within the Holy Smokes Theater ACC drama. So buckle up, brace for impact. Until next time, from all of us at PATC to all of you, please you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.